still getting a lot of use out of his Masked Singer Don't Talk to Me sweatshirt. Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get it on. No choice but to get on. Mandate you get it on. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for telling a friend. We love that about you, right, Gina Grad?
That's right.
And Ball Bryan is still recovering, but he's at home now.
Yeah.
So he's on the mend, and we'll keep you updated. Adam Ray's going to be sitting in with the show, though Adam Ray's doing some VO work, and he's running a couple of minutes late, but we will bring him in as soon as he comes in.
Maybe Tony Danza will be here. Maybe Dr. Phil will be here.
You
never know who's going to
he's
stop by.
Packed them all. All right. Well, now in the world of climate change, a lot of climate change protesters are defacing art, throwing soup on Rembrandts and
cream
whatnot,
corn.
and cream corn, and gluing themselves to a lot of things.
Yeah.
They glued themselves to the floor of the BMW plant.
Oh, well, remember when James Cromwell glued his hand to the counter at Starbucks?
Oh, right.
That was over the upcharge in oat milk.
I'd love to explain to impoverished countries who have problems the kind of problems we have over here. And and then the ones who super glued themselves to the floor of the BMW plant also demanded a bathroom and some heat, and BMW, I think, just kind of shut the lights and said, you're on your own.
If you're going to do that, by all means, glue yourself to the floor of the Ritz-Carlton or the Four Seasons.
Yeah. Now, my feeling with going after works of art, I don't have, I don't appreciate it. I don't like it. I think it tends to anger people about your cause more than get people on your cause, but they cross the line.
Uh-oh.
Over the weekend, they threw sacks of what I presume to be flour, and they tried to desecrate a BMW M1 Pro car painted by Andy Warhol.
Oh, boy.
So for me, as a car guy...
Which part's the vandalism? It's hard to tell with Andy Warhol.
Well, it is funny. A lot of people tweeted that Andy vandalized the car before.
That's funny.
Before they did. I mean, to be fair to Andy, he probably gave it to one of his assistants, and they just slopped paint on it. It looks like a paint job on a car from a guy who was really high and couldn't paint, and it's not really into cars. But it is still an Andy Warhol, and it is still worth... Nobody would really know, but $25 million or something. It's an Andy Warhol piece of art. In 2017, it was estimated to be worth $60 million. Oh, and that was 2017. It could be $100 million bucks
for that?
today. Well, it's a Warhol.
Yeah, and now you add $1.95 for the flour.
And it's a BMW M1 Pro car, which is one of my favorite era race cars ever. I had my own story where I tried to buy an art car, as they call them. BMW did a handful of art cars. There was a Frank Stella BMW Pro car that was an art car that I tried to buy at auction years and years ago. It's a long and disappointing story.
Is it looked down upon to drive your art car? Because you drive all your cars.
I had this notion about taking this Frank Stella art car and swapping out the fenders and the hood and the deck lid and the parts, the doors that were removable. You wouldn't be able to do the roof of the car, but you'd be able to do all the other components of the car. Hood, fenders, scoops and fairings and things like that, and front deck lid, front, hood, rear deck lid, blah, blah, blah.
And what the hell are you buying?
I was going to swap it all out, recreate it, keep the original, put the stuff back, and just hope I didn't flip the car.
Got it.
That was kind of what I was thinking about, but somebody else bought it. It's a long and disappointing story.
Okay.
I've told you guys before. I won't bore you with it, but now they went after Andy Warhol's BMW M1 Pro car, art car, worth millions and millions of dollars. Dawson, you have that story?
A BMW M1 painted by Andy Warhol was the target of climate activists on November 17th. A group from the organizations Ultima Generazione entered the Fabbrica del Vapore Museum in Italy, where the car is on display. They proceeded to dump several bags of flour on the car before security intervened. The special BMW looked like it had a light dusting of snow on it, according to Reuters.
And in terms of desecrating a piece of art, if I can put that piece of art back together and have it look pristine using nothing but compressed air, then you probably haven't done a good job of like when you go after a synagogue.
Yeah.
If I could just go down and get a compressor, a 5-gallon compressor from Home Depot, and just blow all the hate away.
If Dustbuster was your answer.
Yes, you've not really done your job, but go ahead, sorry.
A report from Art News states the protesters originally planned to stick themselves to the windows, but it didn't work. That report also shows 4 protesters sitting on the ground next to the car. It's unknown if the flour caused any damage to the M1's special 13-pound paint job. Oh. The car was painted by Warhol in '79 and raced at Le Mans that year. BMW has commissioned many art cars over the year, but this M1 is arguably the best known due to its connection to the famous pop artist. Warhol was known for bright colors and sweeping brushstrokes, and this particular M1 certainly delivers on that front. In a 2019 feature on the car...
It's like you let a 7-year-old paint a car.
Yeah.
That's essentially what it looks like.
Absolutely.
BMW quoted Warhol as saying he attempted to show speed as a visual image. When an automobile is traveling fast, all the lines and colors are transformed into a blur.
He thought about that after he painted it.
After
that was not the intent.
He was high and got his assistant to paint it.
Yeah.
All right, so now they've gone after my beloved art car BMW, and now I'm pissed.
Yeah,
and I shall not abide or tolerate the movement anymore. In other news, I was watching CNN over the weekend, and they kept running these trailers for Michelle Obama's mission, which is empowering women. And she was going to have a symposium with Melinda Gates. Malia's probably Michelle Obama's daughter?
Sasha and Malia, yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Melinda Gates and Amal Clooney. I hope I'm getting everyone's name right. And all the powerful women were going to get up there and talk about women being oppressed.
And this is to sell the book, The Light Up Inside You, or
yes,
Sticking the Light Within You?
I had to, so I had to watch. Chris will go over it, and we'll get in more detail later on in the week maybe, but he pulled a couple of clips. The first one is, what would Michelle Obama tell her younger self?
Oh, boy.
Just simply put, I would tell myself, you are good enough. You are valued. You are worthy. Your story matters. Your voice matters. You will do the great things that you know you can do. There was something that struck a chord. It's like we all knew who we were when we were little. We knew our power then. It was just second guessed.
Hold on.
So,
did anyone know their power when they were little?
I'm still trying to figure out my power.
So's the world. And I have no, and no, I meant that as a compliment. What'd she do?
It took me a second. I'm so powerless.
I don't want a bunch of 9-year-olds feel like they know their power. That makes it hard for you to tell them to go to bed and to eat their vegetables and shit like that. But this crazy era of circle jerk talking that now women have engaged in I am so utterly fascinated with this chapter about knowing your light, knowing your power, knowing your story. And then the concept is you know your power, but the world is trying to snuff it out. It seems like a Herculean task because women outnumber men on the planet, and probably in the United States. It's a percentage point or something, but there's technically more women. So the minority, that is men, are trying to snuff the light out of the majority.
Why do you guys keep doing that?
It's a full-time gig, man.
You must be exhausted. There's a lot of women out there.
All right, we'll keep playing it.
we knew our power then. It was just second guessed. So I would tell myself, follow that instinct, that pay attention to that flame in you because it is real, and keep it fueled, and don't let anybody try to blow it out because you're going to need it.
But that is so in line with the light inside you. What did she just say?
Nobody knows. if you got Barack Obama 3 beers, he'd go, I don't know what the fuck this bitch is talking about. She keeps talking in a circle. And it's, don't let anyone try to blow it out. Well, it's hard to stop people from trying to do stuff. Just don't let them blow it out.
It's not in your control.
Yes.
I saw this stupid quote that went viral with a lot of "Yeah, girls, you tell 'em, queen." And I put on my social media that this might be a controversial statement, but I absolutely disagree with this statement. I would like to read it to you. It says, I intentionally avoid spaces that require a reduced version of me. I want to be me, always and abundantly.
No, I reject that. Also, everyone, it's called a society.
Yeah.
We can't have a whole bunch of individuals looking for their flame and their light and being me. And I don't know what the situation is. A Starbucks on the West Side, perhaps. Like, I don't know where these spaces are where they're trying for you not to be you.
Everybody. I said, I disagree with this post. I have suffered panic-inducing humiliation in the past by people who thought it was more important to be themselves than to read the room. Everyone loves a character, but there's grace in someone who knows how to behave themselves instead of making every situation about their quirkiness.
Yeah, how about just blend the fuck in and call it a life?
Yeah.
By the way, this is a hour-long symposium where they're talking about racism, systemic this, and powers, and the trying to snuff out the pilot light of creativity. Never just said, fucking mom and dad, stay together, raise your kids. If your girl wants the best shot she can have, mom, dad, stay at the house, raise a kid, because it's always about society raising the kids.
Right.
And
it takes a village.
Whether it's raising the kids or the bullet train or the homeless issue, I don't know. You tell me how society, like how the government
How they
does
doing?
at this. All right, we have a little more.
Is there any pull quote? Is there any one sentence anyone could take out of there and use for something?
I do not. Kindling? I don't know. Keep it going. Sorry.
This is the agenda of leaders, to somehow oppress us under some notion that that's going to give them more power and control.
Why do they keep coming for us?
Because they're afraid of our power.
Yes.
All right, let's revisit that last 35 seconds again. First off, the leaders more frequently are women now. There's a lot of women that are our leaders. You live in Los Angeles, you get Karen Bass, a woman of color who is our leader, and you get a de facto bitch, Gavin Newsom, who is our leader. Who are these? What's going on? What cities? Get specific about like what cities and policies we're talking about. But yeah, Gates is, Melinda? Did we figure out?
Melinda French Gates.
Melinda French Gates hops in. She's scared. They're scared of her power. Okay, well, use your power then and get them to knock the fuck off. All right, I want to hear this one more time.
This is the agenda of leaders.
Go back about 10 more seconds.
And if we sit on the sidelines and continue to say that is not my problem, whether it's on women's issues, child marriage, of voting, any rights, we will continue to see the backslide. This is the agenda of leaders, to somehow oppress us under some notion that that's going to give them more power and control.
They're all just
Why do
nodding.
they keep coming for us?
Because they're afraid of our power.
Yes.
Oh, problem solved, everybody. Just blame it on this ubiquitous something that's out there that's coming for them. The leaders are coming from them. Fucking raise your kids, and then we'll have good little citizens, and then we can get the fuck on with our lives. But, and by the way, these are 4 super powerful, rich women up there belly aching about the leaders and society.
I get it. Like, by all means, everybody wants to look relatable, but like the 4 most powerful women in the world telling me if they can't do it, then I'm fucked.
Give us some examples. That's all. All right, we got one more clip. Oh, we don't? Oh, thought we had our second clip.
That was the second clip.
Oh, wait, what was the first clip?
What would you tell your 25-year-old self?
Oh, it just went. Wait, did we see that one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Let's just watch the whole
They're
thing.
just they're such nothingisms. We forget how many we've seen already.
It's fucking pablum. It's nuts. It's enticing. It's so enticing.
Yeah.
Everyone just nods their head and they just spit out these isms, and then everyone goes, "Yeah,
It feels good.
Yeah." But can it feel good to live in a society where the leaders are coming after you because they're scared of your power? And then which is it? Do you have power or do you not have power? Because if you have power, then, okay, I got some stats.
Oh, boy.
Because there's more clips we can play you. But they just talk about how there's essentially a war on women. She mentions COVID. She mentions education.
Wait, sorry. How is COVID a gender issue?
Everything is a gender issue. With her, well, no, to be fair to Michelle Obama, everything is either a gender issue or a race issue or a gender race issue. Okay. As of June of 2022, 14 male deaths for every 10 female deaths of COVID in the U.S. So that's good. More dudes dying of
than the herd,
pretty substantially than the women. So good job with that. All Remember, right. You guys live 7 years longer, so you got to factor that one in.
Sure.
Also, college enrollment by sex. You want to talk about COVID?
I do.
I gave you COVID. Yeah. We'll talk about college enrollment. 9.6 million women enrolled in college compared to 6.6 of men.
Oh,
so
that's interesting.
1.5 times as many women enrolled as college as men. So I don't know how much work Michelle Obama needs to do, but maybe we could get to twice as many women in college.
I feel like given the headlines from certain Middle Eastern countries, we're good.
Well, what they do is they'll always toggle back and forth between the United States and then all these other horrible nations out there. So they'll start talking about systemic racism and then they'll go to female genital mutilation. And it's like, yeah, but that's not us.
I didn't experience that in Kansas.
That's them. Suicides. I guess in a weird way, suicides is a way you could just kind of define, like, how's this group doing versus that group? Because that's a bottom line kind of stat. 2020, suicides in the U.S., 9,000 females, 36,000 males committed suicide.
Jesus.
And many of them are amongst the lucky because they missed this fucking special I watched the entire weekend. But it's almost 4 times as many men commit suicide as women. So there you go, everybody. But we'll watch more of that. We'll keep you posted.
I've seen this, a sum total of the 30 seconds we've just played. I've seen nothing more. Maybe she does a soliloquy. But in the body language of the 15 seconds we just watched, Amal Clooney's body language is like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. I'm doing fucking great. You know, kind of like closed off with her arms across.
I don't know why they trotted her out there. She's a substantial woman who's probably has better places to be than this bitch fest, this grievance fest about how women are doing. But anyway, knock yourself out. On the other hand, stop breaking everyone off into groups.
Well, and is this kind of your point? It just came into my head. This could have been, I guess maybe this is what Oprah's for, but this could have been a symposium to celebrate women, to celebrate how far women have come, to celebrate this woman's on, Amal Clooney's on stage, Michelle Obama's on stage, Melinda Gates, people who have gajillions of dollars between them. Look, we're there. Like, we help other women. Like, we're doing this. And to use the other side of the coin and say, I don't know, it's a sinking ship, we're all fucked. It's like you really had an opportunity here.
It's all just crazed narcissism, which is women are falling apart. I'm going to fix it.
Also, there was not one unsuccessful woman in that crowd. How much do you think tickets cost?
That's a good question.
To get into that room. They have to be doing pretty damn well to be there.
Well, not to point shit, but I think those were women brought in internationally, like young girls, to be inspired or something. So I don't think it was
inspired.
I don't know. I don't know, everyone. Just stop it.
Maybe not inspired. That was a defeatist.
It was pretty
seminar.
Fucking. I hugged my daughter and cried after it.
Yeah.
I had to get her out of the hot tub, but once I got her out of the hot tub, we hugged it out. Yeah. Then she watched Masked Singer with her friend and made fun of me. She was like, I was like, play the first song. Play Hit the Road Jack. She's like, no, we do the second. I'm showing my friend your second song. And I'm like, yeah, but I sucked in the second. Yeah, I know. It's funny.
Why do you think I'm showing it?
That's why I'm showing it.
Yeah, front load it.
Yeah, she needs to be empowered. All right, let me tell you about Tommy John. Black Friday, skip the crowds and stock up on comfort. When you give your loved ones Tommy John, they'll be so much more comfortable. They'll do everything better, and they will thank you. That is the gift that keeps on giving. Shop Tommy John's Black Friday sale. Do it now and give the gift of comfort to everyone on your list, including yourself. Stock up yourself. Comfy, non-pilling micro-modal fabric, no lint balls or fuzz, luxuriously soft. Tri-blend fabric with flexible four-way stretch. Over 18 million pairs sold. And they don't have customers. They have fanatics. I'm wearing mine right now. I always wear my Tommy Johns. Once they came on and I started wearing these, I never went back, and you won't either. So the gift, it's all backed by the best pair you'll ever wear. It's free guarantee, right, Dawson?
Shop Tommy John's Black Friday sale going on right now and get 30% off site-wide at TommyJohn.com/Adam. 30% off everything now at TommyJohn.com/Adam. TommyJohn.com/Adam. See site for details.
All right. Comedian and friend and funny man Adam Ray is out there. We'll take a quick break. We'll bring him in and talk to him right after this. Adam Ray is in studio. Yes, he is, and he's working the sound machine.
Jews can do sound. Take that, dwarves. I saw you, Brad. Shots fired.
Adam Ray has dates coming up. Lexington, Kentucky, Comedy Off-Broadway. They'll be December 1st through the 3rd. And then Los Angeles Dynasty Theater, December 6th and 7th. You go to adamraycomedy.com for all the dates. We also have a 1 minute long little trailer for your mockumentary.
Yes, a mockumentary I did in full prosthetic. I did this character at the roast of David Ortiz with Bill Burr and Anthony Mackie, where I dressed up as an old Yankees fan and roasted everybody. And so I decided to do it again, but create more of a backdrop around this guy. Basically, he took 20 years off from stand-up. He's 75, and it's a mockumentary about his return to the stage.
Wow.
Yeah.
And this is Tony Caruso?
Tony Caruso, yeah.
All right.
This guy's a legend in the comedy game, legend in LA, started here, took 20 years off of stand-up, but he's back in the game now.
20 years since I've been on stage, but it's time to get back to it, and the reception's been kind.
Tony, it's Steve Martin. Hey, Tony Caruso, Jeff Lucas here. Jeffrey here. Jeff Goldblum calling. Tony, Bobby De Niro. But you're getting back into it. That's fucking terrific, man.
I'm gonna go give it a shot, try some new material.
Tony Caruso!
Tony Caruso.
Tony Caruso, everybody. Tony! Get the fuck out of here! Get the fuck out of here.
Trying to get back on the saddle, as they say, and see if that old horse still comes, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
That'll be on YouTube.
It's on my YouTube channel. Yeah, Adam Ray, YouTube.com/Adam Ray
Full-length
Comedy.
it's there right now?
Full length, it's there right now. That was, we left a little, it's coming out soon, but it's there, ready to be viewed. It's basically, I go, it starts off me as Tony in his apartment, and then, driving around town, interstitial with big celebs, like calling in to kind of, congratulate him on his return. And then me at Largo, the Improv, and the Haha.
Wow.
And, yeah, it's fun. It's great. I got a nice review of it from a lot of peeps.
This isn't your first time getting on stage in full regalia.
No, it's not.
So this is good.
Oh, yeah. I've done Dr. Phil.
Yeah,
You
Dr.
didn't
Phil.
know it was Adam, right?
I know. It's crazy.
That's right. I know. I don't know what gave it away. And even I had like an extra fupa in Phil's. Like, I was like, how could you not know it's me when my penis looks like a twat? We'll be right back. And you're like, oh, yeah, there he is.
Welcome to Chippendales is out as we speak.
Yes, Hulu.
Yeah.
8-episode limited series from the guy who did Pam and Tommy, Rob Siegel. He hit me up when I was in Australia doing Young Rock, and he was like, hey, can you roller skate? And I was like, yeah, dude. And I sent him this like fake resume of like all these tournaments I'd won. And he was like, is this real? I was like, fuck no, dude. I haven't been on skates since the 90s.
I've been seeing they've been promoting the shit out of this.
Oh, yeah. Kumail Nanjiani, Juliette Lewis, Murray Bartlett, who just won an Emmy for White Lotus. And it's the story, just like the Pam and Tommy story. Everyone's got a vague knowledge of like, you hear Chippendales, I immediately think of the Farley sketch
Patrick
from SNL
Swayze.
with Swayze, yeah. Or just a failed career from my stepdad, George. But didn't know the full story with all the deceit and murder and the prostitution. I mean, it's pretty crazy. And Kumail playing this guy who created it, out of nothing. It's a pretty crazy story, and they capture it well. It's really, you get the L.A. New York '80s vibe.
It was a big deal out here in the '80s. I mean, billboards everywhere. The club was on the west side, right off the 405, as I recall. Never. There were two big clubs.
Don't act like you don't know the exact address of where it was. I think it was off the 405. You took a right on Burbank, then a left on Victory, then a private parking space for you.
It was near the 10 and the 405, as I recall. And then there was also, what was the club that had mud wrestling?
Ooh,
shit!
This feels like a Brad question.
I'll think of that one. Yeah,
was it a big deal though? Do you remember it being
mud wrestling? There was one club that was mud wrestling. That was a big deal, and then there was Chippendales, and that was a big deal.
Yeah.
And I couldn't. Oh, the Tropicana. Yeah, was it the Tropicana? They'd have a big billboard up off the Hollywood freeway. That one was right off the Hollywood freeway, and then the other one. Any place that had a 2-drink minimum, I could not do.
Right.
I physically, financially
That's
could
$18.
not cover a 2-drink minimum. But I would see, we have a Tropicana commercial.
The juice or the casino?
Encounter you may not be able to handle. Female mud wrestling and oil wrestling at the world-famous Hollywood Tropicana, where some of the most beautiful girls from TV and motion pictures collide for the most outrageous evening of entertainment everybody's talking about. Great for singles, small groups, and couples.
Great for singles, small groups, and couples.
Is famous for them. Female mud wrestling and oil wrestling, an outrageous evening of fun 7 nights a week, located at 1250 Northwestern Avenue in Hollywood. Try something unique. The Hollywood Tropicana.
Yeah.
Oh, so this was this in like Koreatown?
No, this was
how far south on Western?
It was right off the freeway at Western, and I never been in there.
Deep Western.
I couldn't go into places that didn't have windows. If you didn't have windows, it meant you were a club of some kind with a 2-drink minimum, or it meant you were a high-end steak place.
Right.
And either a fine dining and or clubs with minimums. I could not cover any of it.
I love the VO, singles, couples, or your significant other, basically yourself, a stranger, or put your marriage on the line if you or spice it up. Mud wrestling is probably that thing that takes it up a notch, right?
Oh, it classes it up, definitely.
But when you've run out of everything, when it's like, like getting to that place where you've done everything sexually, and you're like, what have we not done? You go watch. It's almost like couples that start watching porn together.
I don't get watching mud wrestling. Like,
really?
I get watching strippers, but then once they're covered in mud, it sort of obscures things.
I thought because of the full contact slipperiness.
Yeah.
I don't find that erotic, like a fake
I don't like
fight.
to see boobs punched.
Yeah.
But that's just how I was raised.
I like them slapped, but I don't like them punched.
Same.
There was a poster Chris can look for, because a friend of mine had a Tropicana poster up in his garage, and the guy, I don't know if you guys find this sad, but there was a guy who was a Burt Reynolds impersonator.
Nice.
Was his claim to fame, like Smoking the Bandit era Burt Reynolds.
Kurt
and
Reynolds.
He was sort of the referee or the MC or whatever, and it was just... But he's not Burt Reynolds, but he kind of looks like Burt Reynolds.
Caricature.
Why is this a job? Anyway, sorry. Go ahead, Adam.
I looked at we finished last night this docuseries called Killer Sally.
Yeah.
And do you know about this?
I've heard of it.
This crazy like bodybuilder chick.
Yeah.
And I learned so much about that world. And there's a thing called schmoes. And they're guys who will pay for the basically female wrestlers to come to their house and choke them out and beat them up.
Wow.
And they're called schmoes. So I feel like schmoes would like the Tropicana.
There really is something for everybody out there.
There is.
There is, sadly.
Where do you get to that point, though, where you're like, and now, do you think he enjoys choking already, or he saw, I'm sure if there was a petite gal that wasn't a bodybuilder, I mean, obviously the strength isn't going to, be coming with the choke.
Right.
But do you think what came first, the choke or the interest in bodybuilding?
Interesting. I think this is more like a somehow semi-homoerotic sub-dom situation.
Yeah.
Can we just agree that when the 9-year-old is torturing Bugs or the neighbor's cat, that he shall be a serial killer one day, getting choked out by female bodybuilders and then you pay them? I feel like you should enter some list.
register
because
somewhere.
you're capable of anything.
I felt that way about the kids that were really good at duck hunt. You know what I'm saying? Like I always had to hold the Nintendo gun at the TV because I didn't have good accuracy. But I always had one friend that would like sit behind the couch and like, just slay ducks in bundles and then be like, take that, Dad. And you're like, all right, this guy is probably going to be shooting something up. Let's put him on a list.
And then don't you, the real freedom of not being trapped in some sort of sexual gilded cage, because I've talked to these women and they're guys who like to be the pony and the woman gets in the cart and they put the bit in their mouth and trot
They have the butt plug tail.
Yeah, I see what I'm saying is at some point you're going to have a relationship and you're going to have to broach that shit. You know what I mean?
How do you dip a toe into that conversation?
That's kind of what I'm saying is you're not talking about watching porn together. You're not talking about bringing a third person into the bedroom. You're just talking about something bizarre, slightly ghoulish, a little macabre and insane. Ghoulish. And then you want that person to think of you as a responsible, normal person at all other times. You're making eggs for the 9-year-old, stepson. You're paying utility bills. You're having serious conversations with the ex about, or with the girlfriend about the importance of recycling and stuff. But she's just picturing you with that butt plug tail and the bit in your mouth trotting around the fat chick and the bustier.
By the way, kids, if you're playing pin the tail on the donkey at a birthday party, make sure you use the tail that came in the package, not the butt plug tail you found in your dad's closet.
That's right.
Nailed it.
Adam, you just got married, speaking of this, right?
Yeah. Butt plug tails galore.
Yeah.
The Goo Goo Dolls singer played your first dance?
So Johnny Resnick of the Goo Goo Dolls has become a good pal. And so I threw a Hail Mary and said, would you play the wedding? And he was like, if the travel works out. And it definitely didn't. It was crazy. He had to fly in that morning and then played Iris for our first dance song and then 2 other hits. And then got right on a plane and flew back and did a gig the next day.
Wow. That's a power move
it was pretty cool. Yeah, it was cool.
Damn. Where did you get married?
In Scottsdale. She's from Arizona. So
wow.
Does he go full acoustic on that?
Yeah. There was a band for the party after and asked if he wanted to have them accompany, but he was like, nah. And his songs are so big and full that acoustic is kind of the move. I think I got a little.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was cool.
Was there glass stepping? Was there mazel tov? Was there a
mazzles,
chuppah?
There was rabbis. There was mazzles.
Did you marry a nice Jewish girl?
She's not Jewish, but she allowed the rabbi. I mean, she's got,
Same. Say interfaith.
She was like, I'm down for the glass break.
Yeah.
She's like, let's not make it super Jewy. She's like, just because I got a grandpa that, him and Kyrie Irving would get along real well. Type of, like, he's like, Holocaust, did it? And you're like, hey, just asked you what time it was. But so, but there are enough things on the Jewish wedding menu that she was like, that is great. And she's, very, I think she was raised Catholic, but not super religious.
Where
so
did she come down on the horror?
Oh, all about it.
Fuck yeah.
And we went in the horror. It was a crazy, so we went, it was Goo Goo Dolls and Johnny Resnick and then right into the horror.
Oh my God.
And my rabbi, pushing 55 is out there getting it going. Like, I mean, I thought it was going to turn from horror into a mosh pit at a Third Eye Blind concert because he was fucking spinning fast and then the chairs and we had a lot of people going and I thought for sure my mom was going to fall out of the chair, but it went, the energy from Goo Goo to horror. And I went to Rabbi. I go, you usually go horror to Goo Goo. I go, going Goo Goo to horror was a big roll of the dice, and but it was crazy. It was fun. Here,
awesome.
I think I got a little.
You got it on your phone. You can just hold it up to the mic.
Yeah.
Wow, what a treat! Arguments over cost, menu, cake.
Arguments over font, cake, not as much. The I'd probably say.
Yeah, I'll tell you the problem with the planning of the menu and or the planning of the wedding in general. It's a very fine line the guy has to walk. You cannot put up a spirited argument for everything that is floated, color schemes and arrangements and things like that. But you can't do what I did, which is, just whatever. I'm going to work because you can't show complete lack of interest in the process.
Yeah.
You have to
you may
feign
not show up.
some interest.
Yes.
But women, you guys can no longer do this argument where you pick your richest friend who spent the most on floral arrangements and then use it as an example.
No.
When you go, $6,700 is cheap. You're getting off easy. Shanna spent $13,000. You're not allowed to pick outliers who spend way too much for fucking shit that's going to be dead in 2 days.
Agreed.
Do we have it?
Damn.
That was cool.
Wow.
It's so good live.
I gotta hear the hook.
What's that?
I gotta hear the hook.
I don't want to be insensitive here, but does he charge you?
No.
Oh my God.
Favor.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You know,
Huge.
you're gonna have to open up for every Goo Goo Dolls culture from now to the end of time.
Adam's like, look, if you ever get remarried, I'll do some Dr. Phil Grottos. He's like, nah, well, yeah, well, we'll let you know.
Yeah, hard pass.
Wow.
And then halfway through, he did a whole thing, and then everybody started cheering because everybody was kind of behind us. And then there was this really fun moment where everybody went nuts. And then he was like, fuck it, let's do one more chorus. And then we kind of waved everybody over, and then we all got up front, and then it felt like a concert, and he really got into it. And total pro. I mean, that's the thing too that is bonkers to me. Like with us doing stand up, it's like shit. Our voices, like you take.
This is the first dance.
Of course. Are you singing along?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I was making so many jokes during the wedding, too. I mean, I'll have to tell you. At one point, my rabbi pulls up the tallis over both of us to have like a little moment. It's like a thing that was on the menu. We could have a little moment. And all I'm thinking of is he's holding it over us and shielding us from the crowd. He goes, God, what a great moment. Just take a moment. Take this in. All I can think is, what's the joke I'm going to say when he drops the tallis?
Yeah.
So he lets it down. And right before he speaks, I go, Rabbi just pitched me his new app. And got a big laugh, and but she's all, she was all for that. I mean, I was having to be like, give it up. Like at one point, his lapel went out. Brad was one of my groomsmen, and
his lapel,
the mic, the lav,
okay.
And so somebody had him a handheld, but in the middle of that transition, there was just kind of a moment where he's like, oh, it's not working, oh, whatever. And then I go, Brad, quick joke, and Brad just claps his hands and like an old vaudeville jumps in front of the line that he's in, and he goes, 2 Jews walk into a wedding, and everybody it was great, and then.
That's the picture.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to your wife because that's the picture.
That'll be on the thank you cards. Yeah.
Wow.
But his voice, Johnny Resnick, is what I was so 30 plus years.
Wow.
Same thing with you guys had McCartney at your show. It's like I'm just baffled. Like again, for us, it's like I feel like easier to keep your pipes in check over the years for your art, but as much as talking as we do, but like the singing, I just don't. And it's not like he's on vocal rest all the time. You're doing so many shows. I'm sure you have your ways to keep things fresh, but he crushed it.
It'd be really fun if you sent him just where you guys were registered. And you'd be like, no pressure. But
you did attend.
My mother-in-law said we should send this out to the people who didn't bring gifts.
Yeah.
But again, no pressure.
I feel like you did seconds at the buffet line.
Yeah.
Pay for your plate.
Yeah. I saw you take a fork and put it in your jacket. And whether you were going to put it back or not. And the only reason we had Johnny from the Goo Goo Dolls is because the lead singer of Smash Mouth, he didn't say no, but after I saw that video of him at the college.
Harwell?
He didn't do so well.
Man, doing the Heil Hitler, that was kind of a rap on any sort of Jewish wedding.
Oh, was he doing the Heil Hitler? I thought he was just drunk.
He did all kinds of stuff.
He did all kinds of stuff. It definitely made it into the rotation of things not to do at a concert.
Well, maybe we're judging
oh boy
too harshly, and I'm saying
on where the angle of the
that's our cue to exit at.
No, what I'm saying is as a comedian, and many comedians, including myself, have had a couple of pops and got up on stage, but when you're having to craft a joke, it's tougher to do. When you're yelling, when you're like jumping up and down and yelling like, hey now, you're an all-star.
Hail now.
You would do that. Hail now. Hail now, you're an all-star. That's drunken karaoke.
Right.
Yes.
When your live performance is essentially drunken
I told you.
Karaoke.
That's the angle.
That's
I don't know
hard to debate.
I don't know if that's not 45, but that's
Listen, if the lead singer of your band decides to peel off a Heil Hitler.
Look at
in the middle
Chris
of the
Daughtry's
song.
doppelganger to his right, being like, "Oh, I'm gonna have to look for a new gig."
Here's the way you do this. Here's the way. If you're a band member, at that point, drummer drop the sticks, bass player drop the pick, hand up, and start doing the back.
Hey,
You turn it into something, yeah. You start
right.
playing hip hop array.
That's good.
Right.
Even though it's off brand.
That's good.
Right.
It's very on brand
because
for
that's
this.
that's all you got.
Smart.
Yeah, you got to adjust on the fly.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you this: McCartney, being, I know you guys have knocked it out, but had you met him before ever, or seen him live had you been in the live presence of a Beatle?
No, I've never met a Beatle. I've never seen a Paul McCartney concert, and I've never met the man.
So
He still hasn't met him.
I still haven't met
Still didn't meet him.
No.
So the closest I've come is, I matched with Ringo on Grindr, but then Paul actually met him, and I have a crazy Paul McCartney story, and I feel like I'd be remiss to not share.
Please.
You must.
Also at the Hollywood Improv. This is probably 5-6 years ago.
So he does this.
He's popped into clubs before,
Okay.
and the Improv is his spot.
Got it.
And so it's a Wednesday 10 p.m. show, and right before I go on, my buddy goes, "Hey, just not to throw any extra pressure," which, as you guys were discussing too, you can't not get a heads up. And I don't know how you feel. I want the heads up.
Yeah.
I want to know because. Not that I'm going to phone it in, but it's going to add an extra little zhuzh, and like maybe there's some sort of bit I'm going to do that's tailored towards his his enjoyment. So I get up there, do my thing. I end up doing this joke about Shania Twain, and that don't impress me much, and the breaking down the lyrics, and she's like, "So you have a car? That don't impress me much." I'm like, "That took me a long time to save up for, bitch. I'm just still making payments on a 2009 Ford Escape." She's like, and then I was like, you could be like, "So you got 12 dicks? That don't impress me," whatever. So I do the whole bit. I get off stage and I walk towards the back where he's sitting. He's sitting where he was in the booth for your show, but there's the back entrance exit of the club that's right down the middle where the light is. Comedian's entrance and
comedian's entrance.
Also
yeah,
a hallway to the bathroom and to the improv lab. And he's sitting right at that corner. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to walk right by him so that maybe he'll tap me on the shoulder and we'll be best friends forever. And so I walk by. And I'm getting to the door, and all of a sudden I just hear a hey, and a little tap, and he goes, "Adam," he goes, "Great job, great set," and I go, "Oh, thanks, man." He goes, "Oh, that was me." He goes, "That don't impress me." He goes, "Very funny." Fuck that bitch. He said, and then he goes, I go, "Oh, thank you, Mr. McCartney. It's crazy that you're here." And then he goes, "Sit down, sit down." He goes, "Sit down." Invites me over to the couch. I sit down next to him. Just in my head, so nervous, so concerned, like don't fart, don't get hard, like just all the things that you don't want to do to overstay your welcome with a legend. And so I sit down and he goes, "It was a really great job." He goes, "Let's have a drink." And I was like, "Fucking yeah." He's like, "What are we having?" And I'm like, "I'll drink anything. I'll do anything to you. I'm very vulnerable right now. Whatever you suggest, I'm gonna say yes to." He could have been like, "Let's go fucking, kidnap a bunch of dwarves and vandalize a Baskin Robbins."
I know where to get one.
I know where to get one, and fucking, I hate Baskin Robbins, and so he goes, "Let's drink margaritas," and I go, "Obviously, dude." And so he orders. He goes, "A couple of margaritas for me and my new friend Adam." So they bring him over, and then we get him, and he looks at me and he goes, "What are we cheersing to?" And I go, "To new friendships, just staying strong and always never dying and never sleeping and following our dreams." And he goes, "What else?" And with a big smile, and he just kind of laughed, and then he goes, "All right." He goes, "Don't be nervous, don't be nervous." He goes, "To living on and staying groovy, baby." And I was like,
"Wow,
dude, of course." I was like, "Dude, to living on, staying." We cheers, we drank, and then the whole next 5, 6, 7 minutes, I'm not even paying attention to the show. Now I'm sitting there just again, like so nervous I'm gonna fuck this up. And the whole reason you sit at a comedy show or in a movie is to share if something funny happens. He kept looking over at me to be like, have that shared, wasn't that? But I wasn't listening to the show because I was so just like, I can't believe it. And people kept looking at me. Servers were coming over. "You guys need anything?" And then they walk away being like, "What the fuck?" And I'm like, "I don't know, man. Just bring over some tots." And so he would look over at me, and I would just do that thing where I would overcompensate and nervously laugh. So I remember the first time something happened, he looked at me to be like, "Wasn't that good?" And I just went, I wasn't paying attention. So then when he looked at me, I just looked back at him and I go, I go, this is yeah, dude. Man. And he was like, and then I got up and left. And then
did he go in for the kiss?
He went in for the kiss, and that's actually who I got married to. You couldn't tell from the dress.
Yeah,
no, the night ended, and I go, I got to get a picture with this guy just to kind of
prove it.
Yeah, prove it. And as he was walking out too, I was also like, I'm going to throw a Hail Mary and ask if he'll do my podcast about last night. Hail Mary. We had we chummed it up. Like during the show, there was a nice rapport that was built, and I was like, fucking. If I just walked off stage and asked him, I think poor move. Yeah. That's not reading the room. But the fact that he invited me to sit down, to me, was like, doors open.
You regret not trying.
1,000%. Yeah. And I mean, I think there are times, I somewhat subscribe to you don't ask, you don't get. Right. But also sometimes you shouldn't ask.
Right.
But I felt like the door was open, and so I go, you might grab a pic on the way out, and he goes, of course, and follow me out, to my, and he had his manager with him, who was like 5'1", looked like a Disney character. This guy was like stereotypical, like little British, like he's like, we gonna get in our flight in fucking 45 minutes, and he was like, so we walk out, and I'm like, and we're getting ready to take the picture, and his manager's like, we gonna be in Shanghai in 45 minutes. And Paul's like, no, it's right. It's my friend Adam. We'll take a picture. So we take the picture, and then I go, dude, I just gotta ask, man. I don't know what time your flight leaves tomorrow. I got this podcast. I pitch him some guests. I go, 30 minutes tops, even 20, 10. We'll rehash tonight's night. Tomorrow I can come over, 8 a.m., set it all up. And he goes, no, we really gotta be out here early. It's just kind of a rough time right now. The schedule's not really conducive for it. And I go, dude, even 5 minutes. And then he puts his hand on my shoulder, leans in with a big McCartney smile, and he goes, it's not going to happen.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
But with a big smile.
Yeah.
And then he gave me one of those, and then goes, but cheers. He goes, best of luck, very funny, whatever. And then was on his way. And I was like, classy. You know what I'm saying? Like, didn't say, fuck off Jew. He just, wow.
Wow.
Wow, we're looking at a picture of it.
Oh, that's right. I think I told this. I think the story might be on YouTube, a more extended version.
And what a disarming dude. And to that point, what other celebrity could say it's not going to happen, and you feel like
guess what? Had no remorse or exactly.
The best.
A sweet guy,
Yeah,
like it.
you gotta. I mean, if you're Paul McCartney, you have to have the gene and the gear and the muscle to go. Not going to happen because he gets hit up 2,000 times a day.
Speaking of muscle, he didn't have the guy who's supposed to do that for you.
He had Mr.
You look
Magoo
like the nice guy.
fighting his fights. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Which was crazy too. You're like, wow, McCartney. I thought would be rolling with, because I don't know, some 6'7", ex linebacker, but no, he's.
Wasn't that the case the other night? It was just like one dude sitting with him?
Yeah, he didn't have security, which is important to put out there because, it's been
80.
a while since John Lennon. And
he's frail. Jesus Christ.
80, has no signs of slowing down at 80. Fuck.
God, that's awesome.
All right, let me hit a spot. Next, Evo Naturals. Ever wonder if your CBD is working? Well, that probably means it's probably not. If you have to sit and wonder, it's probably not doing what you'd like it to do. Next, Evo Naturals develops, they developed, I should say, SmartZorb. It absorbs smartly. It's a technology clinically proven to help your body absorb CBD 4 times better and faster than regular CBD oil. Gets into your system in as little as 10 minutes. Scientifically proven. 29 times better absorption in the first 30 minutes. So if you want some CBD and you want to relax, I'll use it to help myself relax at night and get a good night's sleep. You go with Next Evo Naturals. Triple action CBD sleep helps you get more refreshing sleep naturally. Fast-acting SmartZorb CBD calms your mind. Fast-acting melatonin gets you to sleep fast. Plus, a controlled release melatonin helps you sleep longer. It's Next Evo, right, Dawson?
Get a better night's rest and a better day tomorrow with products from Next Evo Naturals. For up to 25% off subscription orders of $40 or more, use promo code ADAM at nextevo.com. That's NEXTEVO.com. Promo code ADAM.
All right, Adam, blown off by any other celebs or just McCartney?
Yeah, let's see. Beyonce at a Clippers game.
Oh.
But that's on me. I was about 5-6 vodka tonics deep, and she was leaving with Jay-Z, and I didn't think I'd be on the same planet as Beyonce, let alone the same arena.
Sure.
And in my head, booze, I would say, was driving the ship on this one, where it was like I wanted a moment. I didn't know what. I thought as far ahead as scream at her, which is what I did. So she gets close to the exit, and I just go, Beyonce! And she turned around, and I didn't expect a follow-up move. So for her to turn around, so I just looked up with both thumbs, and I was like, yeah.
You gave her the Fonz?
I gave her the double thumbs up. The Fonz. I gave her the Fonz.
My
The
God.
only couple times I met Beyonce, it was so early in their career that they were vying to try to get on to Loveline.
She was Beyonce. She was Beyonce Knowles, not Beyonce.
Whoa.
And
when you drop the last name, that's when things take a turn for the better.
And it was at the Teen Choice Awards, and they spotted me and Dr. Drew, and the Destiny's Child like ran over to us, and somebody told them, those guys have a big radio show. Go talk to them. And then they did the little acapella say my name.
Ooh.
Wow.
And then we're like, yeah, you guys can come on.
Throw them a bone.
Yeah, at some point. I mean, Beyonce must have been 17 or something. I mean, we would do the first, when was the first Teen Choice Awards? It was like probably 98, 99. 99. Yeah. Well, then it must have been 99 when Beyonce and the rest of the gals came up.
Looking back, what's it like to be in the presence of a 17-year-old Beyonce?
Great question.
Someone should ask her what it was like to be in the presence of a 35-and-a-half-year-old Adam Carolla. Sure. I don't want to turn the tables on the question, but I'm sure it's been posed to her many times. All I could remember from the Teen Choice Awards is they kept saying, you're going to come out there, this is a surfboard, this is the award, this is the trophy. It's a surfboard. It's not a plaque. No. It's not an Oscar. It's not a Grammy. Surfboard. Yes. We call it the Woody, and you present them with their Woody. And I said, a Woody is the station wagon that carries the surfboard, but it's not the surfboard. When the Beach Boys are talking about packing up their Woody and heading on they're talking about packing up the station wagon. Yeah. And they said, well, we call this a Woody. And I said, well, but you guys fucked up because the Woody is, and they're like, just give him the fucking surfboard. Would you please?
Call it anything you want.
Call it whatever the fuck you want. Give him the surfboard. God. So this is the 1999 Teen Choice Awards.
That is everyone at the height of their powers.
Tatiana Ali.
Matthew McConaughey. Ashton Kutcher.
98 Degrees.
Night from New Kids.
Luke Perry.
LFO.
Oh, yeah.
LFO
Don't steal my sunshine.
Oh, right.
LFO?
Yeah. I think LFO is...
That's Len. LFO is...
New Kids on the Block had a bunch of hits. Chinese food makes me sick.
Oh, yeah.
For the summer. For the summer.
Yeah.
I like girls that wear Abercrombie and Fitch.
I like Len better.
Ian Ziering, the Wayans brothers.
Britney Spears.
I saw Ian Ziering at a Rite Aid once.
Bijou Phillips, Luke Perry, Dr. Drew. Am I on there somewhere?
Antonio Sabato Jr.
Oh, my heart be still.
Wow.
Monica.
Anne Hathaway, Jordan Knight, Mila Kunis.
Jesus Christ.
Jenny Garth from Beverly Hills 90210.
Yeah, right. Jennifer Lopez, Kelly Martin.
Jesus Christ. J-Lo was there.
Wow.
Tara Lipinski is the figure skater, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wait a minute, where am I?
You're not. Vern Troyer?
Vern Troyer
they added
was there.
Lipinski and cut Carolla from the list.
Wait a minute, how was Dr. Drew there? And
ousted by Lipinski again.
He's being slowly removed from the internet, Adam.
Is that what's going on?
You're being shadow
They did a scrub.
That's
the
what's
whole Woody
happening.
debacle
You're being
really did a number.
What steps?
I don't know.
Steps was there.
What was the next year? What was 2000? There must be.
Oh, you got to be all over that one.
I'm surprised Queen Latifah's not in there. I feel like she's always around these kid award shows.
Right.
That's funny that you brought up Queen Latifah because
I have you on 2000.
Oh, thank
you
God.
have me in 2000.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I showed up in 2000.
Why would Drew do it alone?
It could have been as simple as, oh, that's gay. I'm not doing that on a Saturday down at the Santa Monica airport. Come on,
or maybe they
man.
offered you to present with Lipinski and not Luke Perry, and that was a deal breaker.
Damn, the next year, Andy Dick and Dr. Dre. Wide range.
Jessica Alba.
Aaliyah.
Hanson.
Wow.
Paul Walker. Pink.
Jamie Foxx. Wow. Bill Goldberg. Kathy Griffin.
Ricky Lake.
Jesus.
Ricky Lake at the kids.
Wow.
Were kids
Usher.
big? Are kids just secretly huge Ricky Lake fans?
Pink was there.
Yeah.
I don't know what. Usher.
Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Wow. Aaron
Katherine
Carter
Heigl.
and
Melissa Joan Hart.
Paul Walker, both off this list.
Oh, yeah.
Why did they? I don't know why they convinced so many celebrities to show up. And also, Do you need 121 presenters?
I mean,
Great
stack
question.
it.
Yeah.
We've had Rachel Lee Cook on, and she is a delight.
Yeah, she is. All right, so maybe I made it the second year. Maybe 2000 was the year that Destiny's Child came up.
Now, do you think there was an alt list where it was like, Al Roker, Danny Bonaducci,
Susan Olsen.
Susan Olsen, like, the girl from Two Girls, One Cup.
Right.
Somebody tweeted me today that they were in Jamaica. Where were they, Chris? What was that sign? But you brought up Queen Latifah,
yeah,
which is weird because she was weighing heavy on my mind this morning.
Nice,
because of the Queen Latifah. Well, there's the Jay Leno. I talked to Leno over the weekend. He's doing better.
He's doing better.
It'll be in the news and all that. But this is from where?
This is in the Caribbean, Guyana.
No liming, no vending.
Guyana.
It's so.
No
in
liming.
It's outside of a restaurant, like a sign. It's like no loitering.
Yeah, no chilling.
It's like no liming.
Sure.
Yeah.
And the liming is in that part of the world, lounging, relaxing, spreading out.
Yeah.
And the Queen Latifah story goes, Adam Ray. I don't think you've heard this one.
No, and I've heard most Latifah tales.
It's cringy.
We were doing the Tonight Show, and with Jay Leno, she was on first, and I was on second.
We got a great show tonight. We got Queen Latifah, not to be confused with my Xbox screen name, Queef Latina. And then coming up next, right after that, we got Adam Carolla. Stick around, headline the next.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like. And it must have been shortly after December, January, back from the Christmas break, because my whole what else you got story, which you do with the production guys, you do with the producer. You get a producer assigned to you, then they call you, and then they go, hey, what's going on? What's going on? And then you tell them your story. Oh, well, did you guys go anywhere for the Christmas vacation, family stuff? So Queen Latifah went to the Caribbean and limed out over there.
She was liming.
I had the whole story about my kids. They must have been 5 years old and all the packaging. And I don't have to deal with this anymore, thankfully. But kids and the packaging, the shit would all be shrink wrapped on a piece of hard cardboard and then have the baggy, twisty wiring.
Yes.
Every arm of the figurine was wired. Everything's just wired down. It took 40 minutes to get this shit, and the kids would be, come on. He'd be like, get a blowtorch out, and a back saw and everything. And Queen Latifah did an entire set. Her entire sit down was, I went on vacation to the Caribbean, and I was liming.
It's called liming.
It's called liming. Yeah, liming. And she just
You can't lime, but I was liming.
She kept saying it, and it didn't go over that well, because it was one of those things where she thought, I'm going to just keep calling this thing back.
Right.
But the audience was kind of done with it after the first 26 limans, she said, and then they had another 8 minutes to go, and just it was just clear that she didn't work her shit out. But
it's too bad Jay can't step in and be like, well, if you say liming one more time, I'm going to
kill myself.
And we'll be right back. Vertical Horizons here.
But
I'm going to douse myself in gasoline and try to fire up my steam car from 1909. This bitch doesn't stop talking about liming.
So fresh in everyone's mind, Lyman.
Lyman, she met Lyman 28 times, 128 times, and then I get out there and I start doing the shtick on the kids and the packaging.
Relatable.
She's sitting next, she slides over on the sofa.
Sure.
I slide there. I'm sitting and I'm doing my bit. And I said, Jay, you got to get a blowtorch out and a hacksaw out. And I couldn't get this thing open with lineman dikes. And I'm told I gestured at her when I said dikes.
Oh, God.
Which sounds like...
We have the moment it happened.
Which sounds like Lyman Dykes, which she's been saying for the last 10 minutes.
Wait, what?
I said
that's what I heard.
I said lineman dikes.
What is that?
Tool.
This is part of the problem. This is part of the problem.
Sorry to trigger you. I sound like Queen Latifah.
Dikes are diagonal cutters, wire snippers that you would use if you were a lineman for the county. If you work for the phone company and were pulling lines, you'd use lineman dikes.
Is there another word for it that you could have gone with?
Garden shears.
Garden shears. Something that doesn't suggest.
I could have just gone with dikes. Which would have been bad, but not as bad as lineman dikes.
Right. What are the odds?
Also, you said lineman. Also, lineman.
I wasn't sure if I said lineman or lineman because I'd heard her say lineman so many times that I was worried that I just said lineman dikes and looked at her. Like,
God.
You would need this dike. Couldn't open this action figure box.
Well, good thing nobody noticed and the show went on.
And I just rolled through it. And when we went to commercial break, you get what you never want, which is the producers with the headsets and the clipboards. They all rush up to the edge of the stage. And we're sitting there chewing the fat and talking to Queen and Jay. And they were like, they pointed at me. And I was like, yeah, you go. No, come here.
Oh, no.
Come here during the commercial. And I was like, you need me? This is something that never happens. We have to run over. There's 5 of them all in a semicircle at the edge of the stage. And they like pull me over. And they're like, you just called Queen Latifah a Lyman Dyke. And I said, No, I didn't do that. You pointed at her and said you couldn't get this open with a Lyman Dyke. You pointed at her. She just said she was Lyman. And she is, I mean, her sexuality is not, I mean, it's not discussed, but
it's leaning that way.
You outed her. And I was like,
you outed her.
No. And by the way, I'm dealing with postmenopausal women and 2 gay guys, right?
Oh,
and I go, Dyke. Oh, I go, no. I go, dikes. No, dikes, like cutters, dikes. Like wire cutters, like dikes.
Stop
you know what dikes are?
Stop saying that.
I yelled, stop shouting dikes. That's right. One of them
Let's start with that.
Stop shouting dikes.
God.
Stop it. And I was like, and of course, you have adrenaline when you're out there. You're talking. I'm very famous. Not famous,
Full
but
stop.
My thing is whenever I do panel, I've always have a lot of success by drawing the guest in. A lot of people just cock their body toward the host.
It's no good.
Kind of turn their back on the other person and just leave the person out of the conversation, and they tend to drift off, you know. And I'm always back and forth, like, right?
Yes.
Come on, you've
Makes
been
for a
in
more fun
that
interview.
right. So
come on, you're a Lyman Dyke.
You turn. When you turn to
probably could
Queen
have bonded with her over something else.
And called her a Lyman Dyke, and I'm like, I turned to her, and then I start thinking, I am the kind of guy who would spread it around.
You couldn't have turned to her for the, when you open a present, and it just doesn't.
Is there anything more magical than Christmas morning?
Gesture, look.
And I was like,
Could you feel it when you looked in her direction, the timing of it? Did you even realize it until after they rushed up to you after?
I didn't realize anything, and for me, dikes, and for Jay Leno, he knows what dikes are. He knows what lineman dikes are. But did I turn to her and did I say lineman instead of lineman?
Do we have the segment?
Because she'd said it so many times and maybe something was in my head.
Yeah.
Or certainly that's the way the audience could have heard it after not.
Did the audience
knowing
gasp? Or did Jay go, we all know what you meant, but that's not what he meant. There's all sorts of dikes. There's a Klondike bar, there's a Dyke Cool, there's a Lyman Dyke, there's offensive Lyman Dyke.
I'm going to crawl underneath this 1909 white steamer right now and just kind of take a siesta at this point.
They might have a Snickers bar. They might have a Snickers bar.
We have to.
Want to get away?
We have to have the footage somewhere.
It's got to be out there. Everything's out there.
Yeah.
Yes, lineman diagonal pliers.
Have you spoken to the Queen since?
No. So let's
get her on the phone.
I drove home in a haze, in like a 2,000-yard stare. I was just driving.
Like, is my career over?
Going, what happened? Did I say it? They said I turned to her and said Lyman Dyke.
And 6 people saw it and told you.
It's just like driving home, and I'll never forget. James Baby Doll Dixon called, and he's like, hey, how'd it go? And I was like, I'm not sure. And he was like, what do you mean you're not sure? What happened? And I go, well, Queen Latifah was out there, and he goes, "Oh shit!" Like he thought I dropped an N-bomb or something. And I'm like, "No, it wasn't anything racial, but it was something else." And I couldn't figure it out. I just went home that night and just watched it.
Did they cut around it? Did it ever air?
It aired. They didn't cut around it.
Bold move.
I never turned toward her when I said it.
Thank God.
They did the thing middle-aged chicks and gay guys does, which is we must add a few logs to this fucking fire.
Wow. Yeah.
And they did. They goosed it up because
you looked her dead in the eye.
I remember thinking oh my God.
You put your fingers over your mouth and did a weird tongue thing.
If I turned to her when I said Lineman Dykes, it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
But I never did.
Oh, thank
They just said I did, which fucked me up.
That's a tough position for Jay too, because I know we're joking about how do you transition out of that, but that's your job as the host to either step in and go, that's not what he meant, or what else is going on, Adam? You celebrating the holiday? What are you doing for Arbor Day? Like he couldn't do you move on, or does he let that breathe and go? Like that night they could have been like, Jay, should we cut around it? No, leave it in. It's funny.
I didn't feel anything at the time, but also Jay and I are the only two people in that studio who know what lineman dykes are.
He wouldn't look at you
didn't
quizzically.
Pop for him.
Yeah.
So he also was like, this adds up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Great moments in Oops-a-Daisy television.
That's right. All right. We got, let's see. Yeah.
There's Adam puts up such great clips on your Instagram. I love it. And one of my favorites is how you handled it, because you're so funny, you're so quick, you do your thing, but you had a really poignant moment where you had to do crowd control with some drunk chick that got on stage with you.
Oh, yeah.
That people seemed fucking crazy angry about.
I think it's pinned on my Instagram if you guys want to pull it up.
You're the one that had to calm everybody down.
Yeah.
So that just made me think when you said, Leno and talk show hosts, they have to do the tap dancing. You were the one that told everybody, be cool.
Yeah, that was crazy. Lax, I think it's the one that's, I think in the one that looks a little staticky. Yeah. So this was in Kansas City at the Comedy Club at KC.
Oh, sorry.
And where you guys have been. Yeah. And rowdy KC crowds. And this woman was in the front, and she was, I believe, Polish. And she was with an older white dude, and they had just been married about 5 years, maybe less, both their second marriages. And they were both real sweet. I was having some fun back and forth with them. And then she was getting pretty toasty throughout the night. And then at one point, she, which people do when you're giving them, when they're included in the show, instead of just, taking a back seat and be like, oh, cool, I'm adding to this. But she thought she could now do whatever the fuck she wanted. And she had a scarf. And she saw that I was getting a little sweaty in the forehead. And so she came on stage with the scarf to, as she explains, to dab my sweat. But she came on stage, that top left one, came on stage approaching me with...
People are pissed.
Mila, I'm gonna take you down. Yeah, you okay? Yeah.
She starts crying immediately.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because Adam's so nice about it.
We're good.
Oh, she started
guys,
crying.
Give it up for Shane. He fucking runs a tight ship here. Yeah. Mila, it's all good. I want this to... In your country, yeah. Go ahead. You see the sweat on my face. You want to dab it off, yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, you're fine. That was a nice move.
Watch this.
I appreciate it. Yeah, you're good. Let me just tell you though, because of the recent events with people coming on stage, comedy in general is a little more sensitive to people coming on stage. Do you know that? There are places that will be, because Shane is a fucking 5'2" Jew from Missouri, right? So clearly not too much was gonna transpire. But if he was a 6'9" black dude from fucking Alabama, you might have gotten drop kicked out the fucking window, The way you were holding that, I thought you were gonna be like, just go to sleep, and you were I thought you were trying to poison me, and you were gonna wrap it around my face and go, just think of Dr. People, Papa, and just fucking, That's what I thought was happening. So, but also I was confident that I could, 1-2 punch if I needed to. Not that I've hit a woman before, but you're smaller than me, so I felt confident in that moment. But I also was, I was also frozen. I was like, I've never been poisoned before. So I went into shock. I was like, oh no, right? I was scared. I was half hard. I was very confused, is what I'm trying to say.
Handled it.
Her accent was so. But what was really daunting is that as soon as she walked back down, she immediately just started sobbing, and definitely the booze. Also, just she was like, I can't believe, because that kid Shane, the manager, was like, get the fuck off, and it was so
jarring.
She in her mind was trying to help, but it was like, how do I explain to her that your heart's in the right place, but also like this is bad news bears all over. Like you're just nothing about this is the right way to go about it. Like definitely,
I'm no fashion consultant, but if sweating's an issue on stage, perhaps a hoodie
less layers
covered by the jacket from Brokeback Mountain is probably going to cause a little schwitzing up there.
It was so cold, and once I went out there, I was like, because I remember it was the first show of the weekend, and I asked him, I was like, how warm is it out there? Because I'm like with the lights and everything, because I feel fine backstage, and it's not like I'm moving around too much up there, but yeah, it definitely created a little perspiration.
Yeah. Well, get ready to sweat more because we're playing the Rotten Tomatoes game.
Also, I didn't realize this, but Polish people are love to wipe the sweat off of Jews' foreheads. We'll edit that up.
We'll take a quick break. Come back with the Rotten Tomatoes game right after this.
All right, now before we get started here, I do want to say that Bald Brian will not be in this game, but there was an emergency council called. The board of directors of the Rotten Tomatoes game has said that this is a fully 100% sanctioned round of the game.
Sweet.
And this game will, in fact, declare who is the Rotten Tomatoes Player of the Year.
Oh, perfect.
So this is a very, very important game.
Yeah.
And, we're sorry for Bald. Sorry he couldn't be a part of it.
Wow.
But,
them's the breaks.
he's got to take care of himself.
Yeah, rules are rules.
Yeah. With Thanksgiving approaching, we wanted to present a game with a turkey theme. But believe it or not, there aren't that many turkey movies. So instead, we're doing this game about all kinds of birds.
Okay.
Inspired by Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds and Al Gore's An Inconvenient Truth, we see a budding romance form in a small town, which is soon attacked by a swarm of birds, causing bloody mayhem. Starring a bunch of birds from 2010, Birdemic.
Oh,
Shock
remember?
And Terror.
Remember we talked about
Wow.
that. Birdemic.
Yeah. Now, obviously, it's horrible, but
what kind of birds?
It
They
looks
look
like all
vultures and
Because I was once
owls.
almost taken out by a pigeon at a gas station. You know how you're just mindlessly filling up at the pump, right? And you don't have all your wits about you. You're in your own head. You're just like, look, and I wonder what Nick Lachey's up to right now, right? And so a bird chooses the front of my face as its path of flight, and fucking right in front. And I literally go, as it goes in front of me, and there's a guy across from me, and he's holding the pump watching, and he goes, you all right, man? And I was like, I don't know, man. What would you do if you almost got face fucked by a pigeon in the middle of the afternoon? And he was like, touche. And I was like, what if that pigeon truly contacted and like took me out, and that was my story.
Fucking tetanus and hep, everything.
Those things are missiles. I mean, they weigh, pound and a half, but they fly 35 miles an hour.
Oh, yeah.
But they're not the meanest birds. The meanest
They're
bird
not.
I've ever encountered is a swan. That shit was so mean.
Oh, they'll kill you.
Oh,
All birds are mean.
At the Hollywood
but
Forever
swans
Cemetery.
are the meanest.
Oh, they are aggressive.
Now,
Yes.
the people who, I'm going to go out on a limb and say, the people who think that birds are robots made by the government.
Yeah, birds aren't real.
The birds aren't real, which is so how do you explain getting shit on then by birds? What's their argument there? Do we know?
Oh, battery drippage.
Whiteout?
Battery drippage and whiteout. Yeah. It's always white, right?
I like
white diarrhea. They're opening at Coachella next
Swans, geese, they're all the worst,
Yes.
but it's still nothing's funnier than when one goes after a 4-year-old. That's
true.
awesome.
And they lose their minds.
Or how about a fat 10-year-old at Universal Studios at the Animal Actors Show?
Mm-hmm.
Me. Yeah. Mom takes me. Single mom, recently divorced.
Wait, dick and tits?
Penis and tits. Dick and tits. Sounds like the law firm my mom went to handle the divorce. Hi, Ron Dick and Steve Tits. You're going to get us mixed up. Don't worry about it. But the point is, we will get your money back. So Penis and Tits Kid is at the Animal Actor stage at Universal Studios, and basically they bring out like the monkey from the Monkey movie with Matt LeBlanc, and fucking Benji from fucking Benji. And, I was trying to get from Cops and Robertsons. No, and so they had a hawk from I don't know what it was from, and they basically go they had a thing where
Lady Hawk.
There it is. They bring up a kid and like they go. they go whisper into the monkey's ear, and he'll go grab some shit from backstage. So they had a kid like whisper in the monkey's ear, and he comes back with like a bra, you know. So it was like, you fucking this little fat little pervert. And so they bring me up there, and the guy goes, "You're gonna meet our friend Eli." And I'm like, "Ooh, who's Eli? A caterpillar? Maybe some fun cat from a Parent Trap movie?" And all of a sudden I'm like, "Where's Eli?" He goes, "Now put this little glove on." And I'm like, "Huh?" And then he goes, "And look up there," because there was an amphitheater style seating. So I look up and I just see this giant bird go like that. And I was like, "Ah!" And he goes, "No, just remember, stay still." And I go, "What?" And then this thing just fucking ascends on me, down on me. And I get up and I swear to God, I start running around the stage, hearing the guy go, "Stop moving, stop moving." So now this hawk is chasing my fat little penis and tits kid body, running around the Universal Animal Actor stage. Everyone's laughing. With like good reason. Like you got a hawk chasing a fat. Some people probably think it's part of the show. Like when I worked at Universal and the guy who played Spider-Man and the guy who played Shrek like got into an actual fight, and I'm dressed as Wolverine being like, "This is hilarious," and everyone's like, "Yay!" I'm like, "No, these guys actually hate each other. Like they're fucking the same girl. You guys don't know there's more behind the mask." So the hawk's chasing me around the stage. I fall to the ground. Hawk lands on my hand. I'm screaming. Then I stand up with the hawk on my hand and start running around. So I'm holding this hawk and I'm like, "Get it off!" I'm trying to shake my arm off. Oh man, if it was dipped in chocolate, it would have stayed put. But anyway, terrifying. So bird. So I see that initial first bird on the poster, and I'm like, I'm getting triggered right now.
Wow.
I remember when the bird on the poster is a vulture, and we had the director James Newen, I think, in here in 2010, and he was explaining to me that these are all birds of prey, and I was like, the vulture's a scavenger, and you put it right up front on the poster, so
it waits.
So you probably shouldn't have used that bird, but
Betty appreciate
the name of the vulture is the scariest name, right? Like vulture, crow, pigeon. You know, hawk sounds like the porn star of the bird community.
Right.
The fact that Sharknado could be at 62%.
Yeah, this could have a huge cult following.
It could be campy enough.
I love that
to be something.
Okay,
but
I have no clue.
I don't think it is. I'm going.
Wait. Okay.
I'm going with 7.
Oh my God. 45.
I'm going 15%.
Wow.
Birdemic, shock and terror, is rotten at 18%.
Oh, shit. I really thought people love this kind of
People
stuff.
have it at 27.
Wow. Boo.
All right.
We see the world of the emperor penguins who find their soulmates through song.
I can't watch this.
But unlike Adam on The Masked Singer, a penguin is born who can't sing at all. But he sure can tap dance.
Yes.
Starring Elijah Wood, Hugh Jackman, and Robin Williams from 2006, Happy Feet.
Oh, never saw this. Can't watch that penguin documentary. I can't see them die and shit.
Every year, 45,000 different types of penguins fuck their mothers. Because they all look the same. They
Penguins, notoriously, if that's the right word, gay.
Oh, really?
Penguins are gay?
A lot of them, yeah. And they have knees. They have knees. Guess where they are? Inside their low fat body.
See, now this would have been a documentary I would have watched. People don't know that penguins are gay. Their knees are inside their bodies, and most of them are born without urethras.
I assume they're all gay until proven otherwise.
Smart.
In the penguin department.
Yeah.
All right. Is this Pixar or Disney? Or is it before
I think it's
that?
DreamWorks.
Or DreamWorks. Everyone
Warner
loves all
Brothers.
this shit. Probably a healthy dose
You got
of
Robin in it.
environmentals, probably some environmental stuff in here.
Sure. And
right?
this was the song, Clap Along If You Feel Like a Room With.
Pharrell's Happy.
Yeah,
Blew up
Oh,
from this.
okay.
Yeah.
I think so.
Oh, yeah, he probably wrote it for this.
All right. So everyone loves penguins. Everyone loves the kids' stuff.
Who's
Maybe
in
a
it?
little environmental message
Nicole
here.
Kidman's in it.
Queen
Hugo Weaving, Hugh
Latifah's.
Jackman. I don't know.
Queen Latifah's liming on an iceberg somewhere.
All right, we're going to lock it in.
Okay, hold on.
In?
Yeah, I'm
Locked.
shaking from the first one.
79.
71.
64.
Happy Feet is certified fresh at 76%.
Oh, okay, good.
So they didn't love it. People had it at 70.
All right.
A teenager navigates a loving but turbulent relationship with her strong-willed mother over the course of an eventful senior year of high school.
Oh, Lady
Yeah,
Bird.
And
that's
neither
right,
of
that's
them
funny.
are birds.
Yeah.
Starring Saoirse Ronan, Laurie Metcalf, and Timothy Chalamet Ding Dong. From 2017, Lady Bird.
You have such a problem with him, with Timothy Chalamet.
That guy, just, any guy who wears a blazer with no shirt under it and is basically men and women, men or women, you just being skinny isn't enough. I need a fucking dimple. I need a cleft. I need a bicep. Like, I can't just be you not being balding and being super skinny.
Yeah.
And it's also, he's kind of the new poster child for the androgynous sexuality. Like,
And how?
Women go nuts for him, but it's because no means no, because you could kick the shit out of that spindly guy's ass.
Well said.
If he ever got a little too handsy. All right, this is one of those movies that's a nice movie.
Yeah.
It's a good movie, but it's also the kind of ones that critics love.
Yes.
They love crazy, they love women, they love strong women, they love...
It has a Juno vibe.
Yes. Now, the real life version of the woman, the girl portrayed in this, would be a shit show.
Oh,
and you would
insufferable.
hate her fucking guts.
Yeah.
But critics love this shit.
Critics
Beanie
love
Feldstein.
Laurie Metcalf as well.
she's fucking
Yes.
awesome.
Did she pop off as Roseanne's sister? Was that truly what she introduced herself to the world as?
I think so.
Right?
I think so. I mean, she
She's
would
a
probably
stage
tell you about a
actress.
bunch of
That's
shit
right.
she did
Yeah.
before that. But
Yeah.
for us, it'd be that. All right.
Okay.
It's high. Critics always fluff these movies. The critics will be higher than the people in this one. But the people will be high,
The
too.
people did. I think it was Academy Award
But
nominated
the
as well.
critics love this shit at 94.
Yeah.
Wow.
I said 88 and scratched it and said 86. So 86.
I'm going 87. I'm going to $1 you.
You do know the rules, right, Adam?
You have to write it down.
Okay.
Oh, it's right here.
Oh, good, good. Yep, it's right there.
Yeah.
I see it.
Lady Bird is
I think I like your fucking tone, Dawson.
fresh at 99%.
I fucking
Your
Wow.
fucking soup
Wow.
cooler. That is
Peep-
not
all right.
possible. It's not that good. It's fine. It's
Wow.
great. It's not 99.
What else is 99?
Like
It's-
Toy Story.
Jumanji, maybe?
That's
True.
not acceptable.
The people have it at 79. That's what I'm saying. This is this is an 80%er.
Yeah,
no, but this is by the way, this is the asterisk side we're living in, where it's like, Academy Award nomination 99. Yeah, because there was a little movement with Me Too and She Too, and critics get all caught up in that shit, and they inflate.
Wow.
They inflated this movie.
That's crazy.
Yes.
This film actually had a 100%.
Wow.
And then a reviewer submitted a negative review solely to respond to the perfect rating.
Oh, so it was 100 fucking percent.
It's not a perfect movie.
Is there a
Come
perfect
on.
movie?
There's just not that much.
Godfather, maybe?
It's
Yeah.
a nice little movie. Defending Your Life is a perfect movie.
Agreed.
Jingle All the Way is a close
Near perfect movie.
90s. I
That's
put it in
right.
the high 90s, but
Birdemic is up there.
Wow.
All right.
99.
Greta Gerwig. So I did a couple scenes in the Barbie movie that comes out in July, and I played a cop opposite Gosling and Margot Robbie, and Greta Gerwig directed it, and her husband Noah Baumbach wrote it, and she was lovely. But real quick,
Is her husband Irma's son?
Good question. Irma Baumbach.
Irma Baumbach
Oh.
was a pretty famous female writer
Yeah.
and script and novels, and I don't know. Irma
No,
Baumbach.
his dad's name is Jonathan.
Okay, but
Yeah, but Irma's
sorry.
his mom.
I'm not seeing.
children Matthew Baumbach.
Yeah,
Wow.
Not seeing that.
and Irma Baumbach sounds like something that's not on the menu that you can get at a CD strip club to ask a stripper to do to you. Can I get an Irma Baumbach,
And
please?
if two people were ever to not be considered for the rest of us to direct Barbie,
Yeah.
those are the two I'd pick.
And this is what I just want to say because it made me think of it. Never met Gosling before. I get it. Looking into his eyes, we talk comedy for a little bit in between takes. The guy's eye contact is just locked in, and then he's it almost made me think, like, do you just think you're always on camera because you're just so like present? And he was squinting his eyes in a way to where I was like, I'm not fully confident if he came on to me what I would do.
No, you would do it.
No,
you know why? Because pre-marriage, obviously.
Sure.
You'd get so much more pussy if people knew you sucked him off. It'd be the greatest, because that's how women are wired.
That's bro code, dude.
That's bro code.
Guys respect that,
Yeah,
dude.
girls would be like, was it like this?
Irma Bombeck what are her credits? Did she write a bunch of
She was a
comedies
humorist.
And there's books and all right, anyway.
15 books.
Yeah, so
Most
now,
became
Gina,
bestsellers.
you did not factor in the social factor of this.
I thought I
told you
did.
It's a nice little movie, but
I said 86. I thought
that's
I did.
pretty damn high.
You said 98?
94.
That's
God damn.
crazy.
All right, here we go.
Well, every good hero needs a sidekick. And when that sidekick is bird-themed, it works for this game. In this movie, we see a superhero duo take on an ice-cold villain using the power of climate change to turn Gotham into an Arctic nightmare. Starring George Clooney as Batman, Chris O'Donnell as the Bird, and Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze from 1997. Batman and Robin.
That is your Sub-Zero.
Is that Uma Thurman, Alicia Silverstone?
Don't worry if your ice cream stays out too long. Keep it. I didn't see it.
It was so funny. It was such a weird time in the late 90s. You would put Arnold Schwarzenegger in your movie to let everyone know they were sitting and watching a movie.
Great call.
And
bankable. He was so bankable.
But it was like whatever, the reality that was going to be suspended so that you would be drawn into this world. No, you would be stopped and go, oh yeah,
It's him.
that's him.
Also,
That's the guy with the Hummer.
we were living in a world where Schwarzenegger was, topping Clooney
Right.
as far as name and poster placement.
And this is usually something I would ask Brian. In what part of the Batman franchise did this one fall? Like, was this like the second or third?
Fourth.
Okay.
Oh.
So maybe
All right.
Wait, was Batman Forever before this? The one that Seal had Kiss from a Rose?
Probably.
Yes.
Great.
All right.
Welcome back to Nobody Gives a Shit.
Nobody liked this movie.
And this is when they had the Batman nips. Remember they got rid of the nips?
Batman had nips?
Hard nips.
Whose call was that?
I don't know. Costumer.
on his costume.
Yeah.
And then this isn't the one with the Prince doing the Batusi,
No,
is it?
no. That's a Jack Nicholson. one.
Oh, God.
I got a quick Batman.
Michael Keaton one.
I got a quick Batman impression. Ready? Here's
Yeah.
Batman trying to find the clitoris. Ready? Where is she? Where is she?
All right.
Good. Okay.
A good cast, not a good film.
Not
It's
a
no
great
Christian
film.
Bale.
Not
Colorful poster. It's almost like when the poster's that flashy, you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
And I remember 4 days after my birthday, I definitely went and saw this in theaters.
But the bar wasn't that high for these big movies.
Yeah, there was no the Christian Bale ones were incredible.
Yes. All right, you guys locked
No.
in?
1 second.
We're going,
I feel really off today, but okay.
I feel confident with this one.
I don't.
Okay. 43.
39.
37, which was how old Clooney was when he made this, I think.
Batman and Robin is rotten at 12%.
Oh my God.
Wow, and the people have it at 16. God damn, they hated this.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Was a soundtrack? I mean, fuck. I wonder if there's anything salvageable about this film. Also, it's like, I don't know, when they were putting it together, they were like, oh, shit.
Where's this going at?
This summer. Oh, fuck. Give me some music. Fuck.
This is fun.
This summer, the guy from Son of a Woman. Give me the gun, Charlie. No, I don't want to, Al. The guy from Kindergarten Cop. And the guy from ER. Hey, I'm not always a doctor. Sometimes I'm a guy with a strong tongue. And the girl from Clueless. Yeah, I'm 16, but I fuck. Deal with it. In the movie that nobody asked for. blockbuster stars, a decent soundtrack, a poster worthy of rubbing one out to in your mom's basement. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Jared. Uma Thurman, before Kill Bill?
Yeah.
Yes. Either way, it's a movie they definitely didn't want Arnold to be in, but he pushed his way through.
You know, I thought when they were making the movie, I would be Batman. But then I said, well, what about Mr. Freeze Pop?
And they go, well, we can maybe do Mr. Freeze, take off the pop.
It's cross promotion. I have a new popsicle out.
George Clooney was a menace on set, fucking every extra he made eye contact with. Until Chris O'Donnell stepped in. You know, I remember being on the film and George saying, hey, you know, if you have to ask nicely, but people really respond to eye contact. The movie that nobody asked for, June 20th. Will Smith, move out of the way. It's time for a new July. It's time for... Don't go see this. It's terrible.
Well done.
Well done. All right, man.
Okay.
I tacked 31 points onto my score that one.
12%. Bad news.
Yeah.
Our final movie features
lower
a bunch
than
of different kind of
Birdemic.
birds.
It's amazing.
Lower than Birdemic.
Yeah.
Birdemic was better than Batman or
Wow.
Oh, God. That's sad.
An evil alien theme park owner needs a new attraction and knows just how to get it. Harness the power of NBA legends to win a basketball game against the Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
One or two.
Outmatched, Bugs Bunny has no choice to kidnap Michael Jordan and bring him out of retirement. Now, this movie stars Daffy Duck, Tweety Bird, and even Larry Bird from 1996 Space Jam.
This movie is a perfect movie.
Thank you.
It's fantastic. The soundtrack's fantastic.
Soundtrack's unbelievable.
The premise is relatable.
At that poster, too.
Very real.
Never saw it.
Oh, it's...
Oh,
yeah,
God.
there's no... What year was this?
1996.
There's no way you would have seen this. You didn't have kids. You weren't the right age.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great.
Yeah, I'll actually take that answer versus, oh, yeah, I saw it 12 times in theaters by myself.
Now this
Penis
is...
and tits. Just... He liked to take the
I love this.
Mike and Ike's and dump them into the popcorn. That's how you get
I was so
penis
fat
and
I
tits.
did the penis and the popcorn trick to myself.
Now this is the ultimate movie of Adam. Adam, Ray, and I have no idea if this is actually good because
you
we
saw
saw
it so
it
many
1,000
times when you were so young.
But but I'll say this, like, you know, Jordan his acting was just good enough. They had Bill Murray was in it.
That's right.
And I think that was a big deal.
Draw.
You know what's an interesting experiment, Chris? You got to find, I remember once I was dating this younger chick and she was explaining to me how great and the funniest movie ever made was Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. And I was like,
it's good.
Oh, you saw it when you were 13.
Yeah, same.
And you're now 17. But you're laughing. I'm 41. But you're laughing your ass off. And everyone has that movie.
Yeah.
Now, you can't go Goonies or Sandlot or whatever. You have to, like, I saw The World's Greatest Lover, I think, was a Gene Wilder movie from like 1977 or something like that. And I would say, oh, that was a hysterical movie, but it's probably 50 on Rotten Tomatoes. You know, we should all
temper our
figure out what those movies are for us. So you guys are corrupted.
Yeah.
It's 15%. Oh, 53 to people.
Yeah,
now,
but the critics hate it.
I saw it in the movie theater like 3 times because I thought it was so funny because he said, when I get nervous, sometimes I transpose words and I mix my words up. So you're trying to give me fart failure? And I remember 13 just laughing my ass off.
All right.
But now 15%, right? I would say, oh, come on, 70. Come on, Gene Wilder. No. It's horrible.
That movie for me was probably Mrs. Doubtfire, which I saw a week after my folks split. My buddy's dad took us for his son's birthday, my buddy, and not realizing there's heavy divorce themes in that movie.
Very
you see the
heavy.
trailer, it's like, hello! You're like, a fun Robin Williams comedy.
No.
Opening scene, Sally Field's like, get the fuck out! I'm like, I feel like I just saw this fight 48 hours ago. And
It was
I'm
a
like,
very uncomfortable movie for a lot of us.
oh,
kids.
I'm like fighting back tears. My buddy's like, are you all right? I'm like, it's just so funny. Like, it was just, but that movie to me was at that time, I put it up on a pedestal.
And Adam, Ray, you'll understand this. In what world, my husband and I talk about this all the time, in what world do the parents get divorced and the judge just says, that's it, Dad, you only get supervised visits once a month? Like, he didn't do anything wrong.
He brought a petting zoo into the dining room.
Yeah, and then he doesn't get to see his kids anymore.
Chris, what is your goofy kid movie?
Oh, and it actually features Adam's buddy Paul Feig, Heavyweights. I've seen it so many times.
All right.
Paul's great in that.
We got a
we've been
venture
stalling.
guess.
All right.
It's a kids movie. It's fun.
Also, this is also at a time when like post Roger Rabbit and Be Cool, where the animation with actors was in a good place.
We believed it. We played the Welcome to the Space Jam song at my wedding.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right, lock it in.
Hold on.
And it's also a ubiquitous movie, but it's kids.
So much branding.
Do you think pilots listen to I Believe I Can Fly by R. Kelly in the cockpit before they take off?
I hope so. While they're pissing on a stewardess.
Oh, that's happening on Spirit.
I hope not.
All right. I don't know. I went 63.
I betrayed my own love for this movie because of everything you said. 50. Adam?
I'm going with George's, my stepdad's age and the number of times he says his own name when he comes, when he fucks my mom. 79.
79?
Wow.
Space Jam is rotten.
Get the fuck out of here.
Unfortunately.
At 43%.
I needed that.
Wow, Gina, that could have sealed. Bummer. The people had it at 63, which was what I guessed. All right.
43.
Oh,
damn.
Gina, you made up some ground in those last two.
Yep.
Gina Grad, congratulations. You made the podium.
Thank you.
Just leave that there for a second. Adam Ray coming in with a nice fat double snowman. 88 points, breaking 100. Well done, Adam Ray.
Thank you.
Adam Carolla, let's remember once again, we are playing for the championship. Rotten Tomatoes Player of the Year. This is a sanctioned game.
That's right. Sanctioned.
Adam Carolla, with a score of 70, puts you firmly in first or second place, leaving us Gina Grad.
I was in trouble for a while.
Played from the trenches. Gina Grad. Congratulations to you on your second place win. Your score of 79 makes Adam Carolla the Rotten Tomatoes Player of the Year.
Wow.
Brian's just rip shit.
Speech.
Listen, I got to thank the Jews who run Hollywood, who made this possible.
Well played.
And I was in the teens until those last two. I tacked on like 55 points. All right, let me hit Simply Safe, and then we'll get into some news. Over the holidays, burglaries and package thefts, they spike, and our friends over at Simply Safe Home Security are offering 50% off their award-winning security system. Order your system for half off today. And enjoy advanced security and more peace of mind this holiday season. This is a great product. We all use it in our homes. We've been with these guys for over a decade. Named Best Home Security System 2022 by U.S. News and World Report. Third year in a row they've got that honor. 24/7 professional monitoring. Their agents use Simply Safe's exclusive Fast Protect technology to capture evidence and verify if the threat is real for faster police responses as well. Under $1 a day, less than half the price of ADT's traditional professionally installed system. It's Simply Safe, right, Dawson?
Don't miss your chance to save big on the only security system we recommend. Get 50% off any new Simply Safe system at simplysafe.com/Adam today. This is their biggest discount of the year, so don't wait. That's simplysafe.com/Adam. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
All right, take a quick break. back with the news right after this.
Well, let's get to that Jay Leno update first. So the former Tonight Show host was discharged from Grossman Burn Center in Los Angeles on Monday, 9 days after he suffered serious burns in a garage gasoline fire. People magazine reports that Jay will receive follow-up care at the outpatient clinic for burns to his face, chest, and hands he received during that, and showed the picture. Leno underwent treatment involving surgical excision and grafting procedure, which removes unhealthy tissue to promote wound healing and reduce the risk of infection. He took this picture with the nurses, and when we zoom in on a little, you see he has a lot of burning around his chin and down his neck, and a little around his mouth.
Well, he's gonna, like Richard Pryor, he's going to be able to get a whole new 20 minutes in his act. I mean,
it was a blessing.
Richard Pryor turned that lemonade into lemons into lemonade. Yeah.
How lucky was? I mean, I feel like that's just based on the first initial report I saw, where it was like, in serious condition. It was just a very small, clickbaitable headline that made me go, "Oh fuck, is he going to get out of this?"
Well, because with a fire, it's all about infection,
right?
So that was the big deal.
And how bad the burns are, right?
Right.
Yeah, I thought I was calling him on Saturday, but I called his shop, and then Bernard, his guy, picked up, who's always there, and talked to Bernard for a while. Then I talked to Jay, and he said he was getting out good, and he was doing good, and everyone was wishing him well, and blah, blah, blah. And then and it was funny because I went out, that was Saturday afternoon, then I went out Saturday night for Jimmy Kimmel's birthday party, and everyone looked at me and went like, "How's your buddy Jay doing?" And I was like, I talked to him. He's like, doing all right. Because there was a little competition for a while with Jay and Jimmy. I think they buried the hatchet a little while ago, so it's all good.
Also, if you do get really badly burned, that was my next thought of like, I hope he's okay, obviously. And then if you are okay and the burns are bad, do you go, I don't want to, is there a party that's like, I don't want to go on stage and do stand-up anymore because it's so bad that like I don't think people can get past that? Or do you...
The Elephant Man.
You go Phantom of the Opera.
You have to.
Half the mask.
You get the cape. You get the mask.
The cape is important.
You get out there.
The cape is first.
With the cane.
Right.
Yeah.
What was the total bill at the dinner for Jimmy?
Cousin Sal wasn't there to
he's
run
the
it
one
up.
That goes crazy
for Dixon, and we went to Pizza Bianco, and Chris Bianco, the guy who's a friend of ours who runs the whole thing, was there, and he was just bringing out pizzas, but he didn't
free food.
Didn't have the seafood tower.
Boo, no truffle.
It was a kind of beer and wine thing. It was a kind of wine and pizza and charcuterie, but it wasn't the big. I'm going to order a gin martini with a diamond in it or anything like that.
No Vouv to other tables.
No, we couldn't run the bill up.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this really, really horrible shooting, but how the shooter was subdued. I don't know if you heard this yet.
I did.
Let's talk about this Club Q situation. People at this gay club in Colorado Springs have been hailed as heroes for subduing a gunman and preventing a deadly shooting from being even worse, even more horrific. Colorado Springs Mayor John Suthers said one patron grabbed the attacker's own gun, which is reported to have been an AR-15 style weapon, and hit him with it during the shooting in Club Q on Saturday night. Another club goer reportedly helped to keep the gunman pinned to the ground until the police arrived.
They do those things like when you're a kid and, Officer Johnson would show up at your school and he'd talk to you about saying no to dope and
sure.
to
The
drugs. And
dare to keep kids off drugs.
Sometimes he had a parrot or something with him, and that was, Deputy Cracker.
That
was his name.
Saltine or whatever. And they do some shtick. I would like these handful of gay club owners, or club goers, I should say, to show up to Uvalde, Texas, Texas, and talk to the guys who cowered in the hall for 9 hours and go,
no shit.
Hey, I'm a florist who likes to get my funk on a Saturday night, but we were able to take down the shooter with zero training, zero equipment,
no weapons,
no weaponry, no badges, no nothing. You guys hid behind a vending machine in a fucking hallway for an hour and a half. So here's some tips.
Couldn't agree more.
That's a great call.
Absolutely. So the gunman killed 5 people, injured 25 before he was arrested. Now, for some other news, at least 5 people. Oh, I'm sorry. They plan to seek murder charges against the alleged shooter, who's this 22-year-old with a rap sheet that includes an arrest last year for allegedly threatening his mother with a bomb.
Yes.
So when you talk about tells.
Yeah.
Now, you said he was a rapper?
No, his rap sheet.
His rap sheet. Okay. So was the
Could be a rapper.
I thought
I
maybe
don't
the bomb was going to be like his hit single. That
I
like you don't
understand.
even know how good it's going to be. An actual bomb.
I'd be the worst cop to show up when you threaten to blow up your mom because I didn't have a great relationship with my mom, so I'm a little bit sympathetic, So I'd just be at the front door going, "You threatened to blow up your mom?" Yeah. What'd she do? She's kind of likes to control the TV remote. All right, I'm listening. Yeah. Keep going.
What is she? What's her go-to show?
We're going to make a list of pros and cons.
She watches Murphy Brown until my eyes bleed.
Yeah, we won't come next time. Just blow it up.
You're good.
Yeah. By the way, that's how kids have progressed. Because I remember I used to threaten to run away.
Right.
Did you ever threaten to run away from home?
Of course.
And my mom, again, being penis and tits kid, she was just like, it's like a 20-minute walk uphill to get out of the cul-de-sac, and a fat kid's kryptonite is an incline. You ain't going anywhere.
No.
Also, I made spaghetti and meatballs for dinner. You think fucking you're really leaving tonight? But to threaten to blow up your mom, I mean, I was always just like, I'll find a new mom.
Right.
Yeah.
But like, never would have think.
That's the thing. That's the Heathers. The original Heathers movie was made to get like the premise is kids are killing themselves, and now it's I'm mad. I'm going to kill everybody else.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to have to police their own kid. I don't know what we want the government to do, but this kid, you got to go in and search that guy's room every 20 minutes.
And I'm glad I looked up 2 sources and heard 1 radio story about it, and nobody said his name. And I think that is
good. That's
such a baby step in the right direction. We never do it, but I'm glad other people are also on board.
That'll help.
Yeah, don't canonize these shitbags. Let's talk about the World Cup. Now, we're not going to talk about the games or the points because I don't know anything about it, and I know this guy doesn't give a fuck. So let's talk about everything else. With the World Cup off and running in Qatar, NPR has comprised a list of things that fans shouldn't do and their accompanying punishments if the laws are broken. Let's just go down the list.
Yeah, by the way, all the people who claim that, soccer's the biggest sport in the world and everyone loves soccer, then how come we only get interested every 4 years or something?
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Great
if you're
question.
into it,
They tried.
We'll try this experiment with something Adam's interested in. Have you not looked at any internet porn in the last 4 years?
What?
Or has it been 20 minutes?
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's literally distracted right now when you asked me. I was at boobies.com.
That's my point. We're not into it.
The only exception was in the 80s when I was very, very young and we got to go to Comets indoor soccer games in Kansas City. And it was only because as a little girl, I remember when they come out, there are lasers and there is smoke. And that was awesome. Do not remember the games.
Indoor soccer was fun.
Yeah, that was a big thing.
I played outdoor soccer until 5th grade, and then I scored on my own team, and my friend's dad called me a fucking idiot. And I was like, this is a wrap for me on this sport.
Yeah, I've also scored on my own team in soccer.
Oh, it's demoralizing.
Yeah.
I saw in slow-mo my buddy Noah Hostetler diving towards the goal going, what are you doing? And his dad was like, you fucking idiot. I was like, dude,
So what you can't do in Qatar or Qatar?
For today, we're going to call it Qatar like guitar. Okay, so let's just go down the list. Alcohol. In Qatar, regular fans won't have access to alcohol at matches. Only spectators in the stadium's high-end luxury suites will have access to booze. Outside the stadium, fans can only drink at special World Cup gathering spaces. Do not test this.
Yikes.
In general, the public consumption of alcohol is illegal in Qatar and can bring up to 6 months in prison.
What a great spot for the World Cup. I feel like drinking is all you're doing.
I'm glad you said that. I read, and this should come as a surprise to no one, I don't know if this is true, but I saw that it was a bidding war between Qatar and Russia, and Qatar's bribe was better. So if we want to know how these things are decided, that's just what I saw. So let's see. Anyone smuggling alcohol into the country can face up to 3 years in prison. Let's see. Speech that's deemed critical of the Qatari government could trigger an arrest. Those laws apply both to spoken word and social media, so you're having a great time and you're being treated very well. Meanwhile, when it comes to talking smack at the stands, as spectators do, you want to keep that to a dull roar. Arguing or insulting others in public could lead to an arrest.
That's all there is arguing and booze at soccer games. Like, why bother?
I don't know. I'm going to give you a few more. Dress codes in many public areas require both men and women to cover shoulders, chest, stomach, knees, and tight leggings be covered by long shirts and dresses. Being gay, and this is a quote, homosexuality is criminalized in Qatar, and LGBTQ people are reportedly subjected to conversion therapy and harassment by authorities and imprisonment.
Everyone who watches soccer's gay. So how are they going to weed them out?
Well, they can't arrest everybody.
Yeah.
Finally, sex, just in general. Visitors
can't
to
have
Qatar
it on the field during the game.
Can also face harsh punishments for indecent acts and the act of sexual intercourse outside of marriage. Accusations ranging from a fine or 6 months imprisonment for anyone found to have committed immoral actions or gestures to up to 7 years in prison for someone having sex outside their marriage. If you're pregnant and you're going to the World Cup, you need to show a marriage certificate if you even want to go to a doctor's appointment for prenatal care.
What year is it over there?
Well, I'm glad you asked, because two more things about this whole vibe. Here's a couple other issues. In order to build all the stadiums and infrastructure for this, Qatar brought in hundreds of thousands of migrant workers. Human rights groups say there were thousands of unexplained deaths of these migrant workers during the nearly 12 years of preparations for the World Cup. Officials in Qatar say only 37 people died, and they only count 3 if we're just talking about in the workplace. So there's that. And then as far as everything else, I don't know if you saw this clip, but
I always say this, who are your Mexicans?
Yeah, we've talked about this.
Everyone takes great offense to that. Like if you talk to someone from Belgium, I go, who are your Mexicans? And they go, what? And I go, who are your Mexicans? And they go, what are you talking about? Like, what am I going to answer? I said, no, listen, I'm from California. Mexicans do all the work. When you drive through a nice, affluent neighborhood, you will see the people mowing the lawns, the people slinging the stucco, the entire crew on the mega mansion that's being built. It's all Hispanic. You drive down the freeway and they're doing the barrier walls on the outside for the sound barrier. It's all Hispanic. These people work. So you're from Belgium, who are your Mexicans? And they go, oh, Hungarians. Once they get it. They go, oh, all the people who come here to work and do all the shit we don't want to do are from Albania.
Everyone's got their own flavor.
Right.
By the way, Qatar for the World Cup, this feels like, was the Al-Qaeda headquarters taken? Why did they pick this? It feels like there's so many things that are just like weird laws in place and just like too many restrictions.
It's not great. And I am I wrong? I'm looking for the answer. I'm not finding it this second. But we asked about Qatar at some point. Didn't someone say Indonesia?
Oh, who are their
who are the migrant workers?
Yeah. And also, shouldn't we be boycotting this?
You'd think so. We're doing it.
20 minutes ago, they tried to pass some voting laws in Georgia, and Major League Baseball just picked up and left.
Yeah.
And all the big Delta and Coca-Cola and all the other blowhards that don't really care about voting laws were crowing about how this is blah, blah, blah. Nothing ever happened. Of course, all that Jim Crow 2.0 never happened. But Major League Baseball picked up and left immediately, and everyone's talking about boycotting and stuff like that. Should the U.S. soccer team go to one of these places with these draconian laws and participate? And then why are we cheering them on?
Great question.
Because we're fucking hypocrites.
Yeah.
That's why.
Well, as far as what else is going on over there, we may never know, especially since the government there isn't super accommodating to journalists. I don't know if you saw this video, but just last week, a Danish TV crew was interrupted by Qatari officials who threatened to break their camera equipment. They're just randomly on the street just doing nothing. This is just a public place. Here's the part where it kind of goes into English. Here's the clip.
Her, hvis vi drejer kameraet, we are live on Danish television, og der kan I se, nu bliver vi stoppet med at filme, og det er forholdene her. Mister, you invited the whole world you invited the whole world to come here. Why can't we film? It's a public place. We can film with this permit. This is the upgrade pass, and this is the accreditation. Okay. We can film anywhere we want. Okay. There are only, of course.
But only for the Qatar. Qatar, you have because the Qatar is a
no. We don't need permit. But you can break the camera. You want to break the camera? Okay, you break the camera. Okay. Yes. So you're threatening us by smashing the camera.
He's filming in front of a yogurt place in the middle of a town.
And he had to buy the upgraded pass for that?
Jesus Christ.
We have new toppings coming out at this frozen yogurt place, and you will be revealing them on camera. And we just got Oreo cookie crumble, and we cannot...
Those Jimmys are the colors of the gay flag.
Rainbow Jimmys.
Stop filming.
Man.
Wait, Qatar, they make all their money off of oil?
I think so.
Because here's the moral of the story, everybody. If you made your money off of like innovation, like, your Silicon Valley, Germany, you make a nice sports car, Japan, they don't really have natural resources. It's all kind of shit they had to make versus just shit underneath you that you suck out of the ground and then sell to a bunch of other nations. You get a weird attitude. It's like the attitude. It's like somebody wins the lottery versus someone who started a small business and grew it. Sure. You know what I mean? Like somehow the person that got the money for free is super tacky and has a horrible fucking attitude and looks like there's a plate of shit under their nose all the time. And the person that started their own business and built it is like magnanimous and helpful and humble and whatever. It can't just be a coincidence that all the rich nations that got rich through doing nothing, literally just being on top of an oil reserve, are all the worst. Top exports, petroleum gas, crude petroleum, refined petroleum, and hummus. I added hummus.
What?
Yeah, of course, they have the worst laws. They're the worst regimes. They have the biggest attitudes.
Well, and I had a friend who was so excited to go to Doha in Qatar. I was like, oh my God, it's so beautiful. I'm like, I don't want to go. I don't want to be anywhere near there because I'm the one, like, if I get pulled over, a cop can convince me I stole my own car. So I don't want to go to prison for something I didn't realize I was doing in a country that I probably didn't want me there.
Right.
No good. Right.
I went to Qatar for a week long of shows.
You did? You brought the Dr. Phil show
circa 2006. It was Robin's idea. She goes, you need to get the fuck out of the house, bitch. And I said, all right, well, we'll take the program to Qatar and do and there are a bunch of weird laws. I wrote a few down just that I experienced for myself. You can't mention the movie Air Bud because they take it personally that their animals aren't as athletically gifted. You can't push your friend at a urinal. Sometimes when your buddy's peeing and you push him into the wall so he kind of gets piss on himself.
Especially if he's wearing khakis, like a light color khaki.
Oh, you go to jail and get beheaded if it's khaki.
Out in the restaurant with all the splatter.
Sure.
Right.
You can't masturbate to Mary Kate Olsen. Ashley's fine. You can't...
Wow.
You can't film in front of the Froyo spot. Found that out the hard way.
Yeah, right. Poor Danes.
You can't tie up an alligator to a fire hydrant, which hey. Okay.
Is any of this on your list?
No, I didn't. But I didn't have the detailed ones like that.
You can't.
General.
You can't do that thing where you put your finger through your zipper and pretend it's a wiener.
Right.
Oh, right.
In church,
that's indecent.
The finger dick trick, I like to call it, where you go, "Hey, look at my finger penis," and then laughter ensues. So
I kind of agree with him on that one.
Can you do the one where you kind of have some of your scrotum out and you tell everyone you sat in gum?
Oh yeah, the gum scrotum trick is they actually invented that, which is what the first episode was about. Was how the Qatarian people invented doner kebabs and the scrotum nutsack gum trick.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but my favorite part about being out there was the hospitality. They were all very nice. They were fired up for the World Cup, but then they said, "Be careful," and I said, "Okay, well, who touched you? We'll be right back. We'll keep it right here."
Yeah, They put together those shantytown camps. They bring in all these super impoverished people, and then they make them do all their slave labor.
Right.
It's awesome. Okay. All right, but go Team USA, right?
Yeah, we're number one.
At the end of all that.
All right, let's bring it home.
You
Gina.
got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news.
Gina Grad.
That was the news with Gina Grad.
We really cherry pick our causes in this country. Indeed. We really have things that upset us greatly and then things we just don't give a shit about. Usually when it has to do with money, we tend to look the other way. All right. You can go to AdamCarolla.com for all live shows. Rialto Theater coming up December 15th at Tucson, and then Tempe Improv 16th and 17th. We're going to be doing some live shows there as well. And let's not forget about me and John Popper doing our Workin' Blue tour.
Whoa.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
That's
you
awesome.
can reserve your spot. It's kind of a land cruise. That'll be January 20th. And that'll be in Dallas. All right. Just go to AdamCarolla.com for all that. Adam Ray, Lexington, Kentucky. Comedy Off Broadway, great club, December 1st through the 3rd. Los Angeles Dynasty Theater, December 6th and 7th. AdamRayComedy.com is where you go. Adam, always funny.
Love you guys. Check out Tony Caruso on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. All the tour dates, AdamRayComedy.com. Welcome to Chippendales on Hulu.
And until next time, it's Adam Carolla for Adam Ray and Gina Grad. Say it. Mahalo.